action here at Phillip Island. Good afternoon from Phillip Island for the Australian round of Moto2, the championship on a knife edge. This is a place where things can change in an instant, just like the conditions, the momentum at the moment with Diogo Pereira on pole, full of confidence, MotoGP move in his back pocket. He's now 9 behind Gonzalez in the championship. And they're on either side of that front row with home hero Senna Aegis in between them. Lots of challengers all the way through this pack. You saw Aaron Canet, for example, has been second here for the last couple of years. But it's been tough going throughout the weekend. They've not had the best of conditions. So there's a few people out of position. Alonso Lopez, for example, had a crash this weekend. He won the race here a couple of years ago. Finds himself way down the order. So does the like of Celestino Vietti, who just does not get on with Phillip Island. Remember, Senna Aegis on that front row, hoping to make it a great day for Australia. Jack Miller was just off the podium yesterday. Won't say what's gone on in Moto3, but something for the home fans to cheer, definitely. Moto2 now, Michael. 9 points the gap after Gonzalez's DQ back in Indonesia. What do you see happening here now?
It's going to be an interesting one, as Neil called it. I think today is the day that Manu Gonzalez needs to stop the bleeding in terms of championship points. He gave away a few too many to Diogo Pereira of late, and as they have a little look at each other on the warm-up lap, Diogo down the inside at turn 4, but I think Manu's going to take the fight to him. Diogo did best Manu here 1 year ago, so Diogo likes this track, but Manu's a very different contender or rival, let's say, than he was 12 months ago. He's looking strong, although not been as happy on the bike this weekend. It's not quite worked for him, but he's going to dig deep. He had a couple of sight laps, looked like they were trying to change something overnight, and perhaps it has worked.
Conditions-wise, still the winds that we saw for Moto3, blustery, as we saw down the front straight, should I say, behind the rider's shoulders. So something to bear in mind. Although Jake Dixon on the grid didn't see it as a problem.
It's quite dirty out there where Jake was on the outside of the track. A lot of dust blowing on there, but yeah, Jake not feeling too bad in the blustery conditions. Some riders talking about it more so than others, so perhaps it won't interrupt this race too much. None of the Moto3 riders in the podium commenting on the difficult conditions, so yeah, fingers crossed it has died down a little bit and not causing too many issues on track.
Tense times in Moto2. 9 points separate Brazil's Diogo Pereira from the championship leader, Spain's Manuel Gonzalez, who was disqualified last time in Indonesia. He needs to stop the rot. He's lost points 5 out of the last 6 races to Pereira. Alongside him, his teammate will not give him an inch. Senna Aegis wants to do the business for the home crowd. But in pole position sits Pereira, fastest rider throughout the weekend. They're being held quite a while down there. Wind in their tails. We've got 23 laps. Tyres are going to come into this one. It's the Australian Grand Prix in Moto2. It's a good start from Senna Aegis from the middle of that front row. He's going to lead down towards turn 1. Pereira quickly slots in behind the Australian, but Aegis leads. Gonzalez is there in 3rd. Jake Dixon in 4th. At the front, is Pereira going to attack? No. Sits tight. Few people off the track though at turn 1. We saw that a bit in Moto3 before, Michael.
Yeah, Jake went deep to get through on Sasaki, but he went very wide and it's cost him time, allowing the lead 3 to get a bit of daylight between them and Alonso. Jake's fighting back on Sasaki down through Stoner Corner, but not quite this time.
Best start we've seen from Sasaki was 7th on the grid. Often goes backwards, but that's good for him. He's there in 5th, just ahead of Dixon. Alonso it is who's got through into 4th place. He won the Moto3 race here 1 year ago, and if he's at this point of the race, he's in the front group, every chance Alonso will be there when it counts at the end. But it's Australia's Senna Aegis who leads us through towards the hay shed for the very first time. Diogo Pereira at 2nd, Manuel Gonzalez is in 3rd. Pereira sizing up Aegis up towards Lukey Heights, but the Aussie hangs on firm.
I know it's early doors, but do you think the Intact GP have had a word with Senna Aegis? It's a home GP. He's out for himself, going for victory today, but he can play a part in this championship fight.
I think there is nothing they could do to stop Senna Aegis today, just going for it. And that helps them. It does help them. If Aegis can go and can better Pereira, then that will be good for them, because Gonzalez still has the work to do. He's at home in his home Grand Prix, and after lap 1, he leads the way through. I talked to him earlier this weekend, Michael. Tyre life is going to be crucial here.
Yeah, all the Moto2 riders on the soft option front and the softer option rear tyres, but they are dropping. They get a couple of really good laps, then a bit of a drop, then it seems to stay quite constant until about, what, halfway, 2/3 distance, some of the riders reporting.
How do you look after your tyre coming out the Southern Loop, for example, or dropping down into Stoner?
Yeah, patience is one big thing that you can play into your favour here around the Phillip Island circuit. Getting the bike turned naturally, not using too much tyre off the corner as Jake goes down the inside of Canet. It's a good opening run of laps for Sasaki as well, and we know Jake sometimes loses a little bit of touch in the opening laps, but he's fighting hard here to stay in contact with the leaders.
So he just leads them through. This is tempting for Gonzalez, isn't it? He has not got on with this place this weekend. So many times this year, we've rocked up to the race and we said, oh, well, Gonzalez is the fastest rider. So many times, he hasn't come out on top. Too many times, actually. And that's why there's still 9 points in it. But today, I wouldn't have said Gonzalez had necessarily the pace. I'd say Aegis and Moreira do, and Alonso perhaps.
Yeah, I think this weekend, despite it being a track that you would imagine should suit Manny Gonzalez with the fast-flowing nature of this racetrack, but it's not quite worked, it's not clicked. He had those 2 crashes on Friday, which do sap the confidence a little bit. But he fought back yesterday, put it on the front row of the grid. Looking good here after these first 2-3 laps. He's had a good start onto lap 3 now, should I say. And yeah, he's in touch with Diogo. That's exactly where he needs to be.
It's a little bit dusty if you get offline. That is not the ideal line for Senna Aegis. And Moreira's going to take over the lead. Just pushed down into the corner. Went deep. He's going to turn underneath Moreira, is he? Through the Southern Loop. Just got to be careful there, because he'll be applying that throttle a little bit earlier. As now Gonzalez attacks. So Aegis used a bit of tyre there, you feel, to get back to the front.
Yeah, I would have said so. Alonso straight through on Diogo Moreira, wasting no time whatsoever, the young Colombian.
Here we go. Already at the start of this race, all these moves, every single time. You're opening that throttle that little bit earlier. You are using that little bit more tyre. Senna Aegis said you can destroy your tyre in moments. You've got to pick your moment when you decide to use that tyre.
Yeah, the left side, you can see the drive grip he got from the Southern Loop towards Stoner Corner, and he used some rubber to do it. As you mentioned, the drive portion, that generates surface temperature, which when you put a little bit too much, you continue to spin more and more, and it just has such a negative effect once you overheat it. But yeah, patience at the moment looks the virtue of the day. And
Moreira was the one who was leading at that moment, and actually in losing one spot, then it became 2 with Gonzalez, then it became 3 with Alonso, and suddenly his race becomes more difficult now, because it means he's going to have to pass people if he wants to extend his championship lead. So Aegis at the front, Gonzalez sitting pretty in second place. He won't mind too much as long as it's just his teammates in front of him. Again, Aegis a little bit deeper down through Doohan's corner.
Yeah, the mistake last time around dropped the lap times back into the 31-second range, which allowed the chase group to join the party here at the front. So I think the speed the front runners can do is mid-30s, which is under the previous race lap record. They can do it consistently throughout, and then obviously deal with the tyre drop later on.
Into the Miller hairpin. That's a nice line for Aegis. That is the open, leaving the door open line, but it's the best for your tyres, isn't it? And when things get tight later on, you won't be able to start taking that line. You'll be looking to defend that bit more.
Let's look at Danny Holgado's in the back of the group behind Arenas. He's very good at conserving his tyres. We've seen that so many times already this season as a rookie.
It's got a bit gloomy out there, hasn't it? That's one thing we're told. There's no forecast of rain, but it certainly looks dark. Looks like there's moisture in the air.
Yeah, certainly a little bit darker. No threatening clouds from what I could see just prior to the start of this race, but always a worry here at Phillip Island. It can roll in pretty quick if there's any weather on the horizon.
Aaron Cannett's got through on Jake Dixon at the front there. Aegis was a bit deep again down into turn 10. He's definitely trying to sweep the lines a little bit more. He's thinking, isn't he, Aegis? Trying everything he can to keep the tyres underneath it.
Yeah, he's got a good flow at the moment, and it's one of those where if you can use a bit more front tyre perhaps and save the rear towards the end of the race is important. He's deep again though.
Yeah, that's happened a couple of times now. Down into Doohan corner. It just allows the field back onto him. Quick word for Ayumu Sasaki. Michael. He's having a good ride there in 5th spot.
Yeah, we've been saying for a while Ayumu's looking strong as he gets under Diogo Moreira on the run from the southern loop to Stoner Corner. Nicely done from the Japanese contender. Diogo fights back into turn 4.
Yeah, Diogo at the moment can just see, although this race isn't decided, being put under some pressure. And when you start having to battle and you start having to scrap, as we said before, it just fuses the edge of your tyre.
The thing we have seen this morning already with the Pirelli tyres, it looked like almost a cold tear, the banding on the Moto3 runner. So as we witnessed earlier in the season, we're seeing Guevara needs to drop 1 position for causing contact. But yeah, we've seen earlier in the season with Barry Baltus specifically, he would really push hard to keep the tyres working. We had it in Misano and he was coming forward in the latter laps of the race and we expected a drop-off because he pushed it on. So yeah, at the moment, maybe the order of the day would be keeping a good load into the tyre, keeping them in an operating window. It's always difficult when you've got a wind chill and you lose a bit of temperature on the side of the tyre.
And it's not just your rear tyre, is it, here? I actually saw a little bit of marking already on Canet's tyre. In fact, we were told about lap 5, you get your first drop. And then it stays steady until about lap 16, and then all bets are off.
All bets are off indeed, yeah. As you mentioned, the front tyre takes a pounding around these long hanging corners. The left shoulder of the front tyre here asks a lot to turn it back to a second and later apex. Ayumu Sasaki's looking good here.
Yeah.
It's what we've been wanting to see for a while. The speed's certainly come good at the RW Racing team for Ayumu throughout the season, but not been able to perform on race day at this level, so it's really good to see him fighting in the front group.
Yeah, Moreira is having to work hard to keep him at bay. Still Aegis leads. Gonzalez, championship leader, in second. David Alonso, Moto3, outgoing Moto3 world champion, in third, with Diogo Moreira, MotoGP rider next year, there in fourth, and as it stands would be losing 7 points to Manuel Gonzalez. Gap stands at 9 in the championship with this and 3 more rounds to come.
Just a shout for Adrian Huertas, Jake down the inside of Arenas at MG. But Huertas having a good race. He lost a position on that lap to Holgado, but yeah, he's right in touch. That's his best showing of the season as well for the World Supersport. Former champion and graduate in his first season in Moto2. It's not been an easy run to this point.
Aegis down the home straight, crosses the line now, 6 down, still 17 to go. A little bit more daylight on this lap between himself and Gonzalez. Who is judging it right at this stage? Who is riding in their comfort zone? I mean, I think they're all trying to.
Yeah,
but who is it going to be successful for? Who's it going to, in these remaining laps of this race, who is going to have some tyre at the end when it really counts? Oh, there's another bird that's been hit up towards, it wasn't a seagull on this occasion, someone clattered into it at the front there.
Yeah, unfortunate for the bird, but yeah, something that we have to deal with here at Phillip Island quite often. Who is it going to last, or whose tyre is going to last? Ayumu Sasaki's one, a little bit smaller, diminutive, perhaps puts a little bit less load into the tyres is one thing, but watching him through Stoner Corner, he is applying the throttle quite aggressively. He is steering a little bit from the rear, which obviously uses a bit of rear rubber to do so.
Can you imagine Senna Aegis winning here in Moto2, be the first Australian to win a Moto2 race here at Phillip Island?
Making some, on this lap, some ground on Gonzalez. The previous lap as well, just had a 1/10 of a second advantage. See a little bit of pump from the rear of Alonso's machine already exiting turn 12.
Gearing another factor in Moto2. What's the situation there? As Gonzalez is passed now by Alonso. Now this isn't great news for Manu.
No, it's good news for Senna though on his previous circulation. Best lap of the race for him, 30.4. It's an impressive lap time and he gets a 7/10 advantage over Alonso, but Alonso making the run to turn 1. Good drive out of the final turn. We witnessed it from the onboard.
On board with Moreira now. Got his title rival in his sights, up towards Miller's hairpin, and of course he lunges at the first opportunity. Down into the hairpin, they're side by side through there. Moreira up into the podium spots, and crucially ahead of Gonzalez.
Manu tried to tough it out from the outside, leaned in there on top of Diogo Moreira, but had to give best through Miller's corner. Has a little wheelie out of Siberia. He's using a bit of tyre accelerating out of there to stay with his championship rival.
There's a psychology in it, though, isn't there, as well, to let Gonzalez know that he's there, to let Gonzalez know that he's up for the fight. He knows that Gonzalez is a bit wounded, perhaps, by what slipped there from ages down the hill. But, you know, perhaps wounded by the DQ in Indonesia, wounded by a huge crash at the Hayshed earlier this weekend.
Yeah, it has been a rough couple of weeks for Manu Gonzalez. No fault of his own losing those 20 points in Lombok, but it will sting. And you can see a little bit of marking on the left side of his front tyre as well at this early stage. And then the crashes on Friday, as you mentioned, that does it all has a psychological effect, so he's got to dig deep in this race, though.
All the battling behind is helping Senna Aegis out front, the gap up to 1.2 seconds. However, a word of warning for anyone getting ahead of themselves at this stage of the race. We have seen leads like that dissipate. Ergo, Jorge Martin, a couple of years ago in MotoGP, who had a 3-4 second lead and whittled away in just the last couple of laps to be pipped to the line by his teammates. So, while this is good and looks good for Aegis at the moment, even better that this group behind him is scrapping it out, he just has to remain calm and try and hang on to his tyre as much as possible. Try and be gentle with it.
It's been a good couple of laps here for Jake Dixon. Back across to the rear wheel of Sasaki. He's in the 30-second range like Senna Aegis, and we know Jake's very good at conserving his tyres, both front and rear, as is the Boscoscuro chassis.
Yeah, but the chance of victory is going away at the front for someone like Dixon. While he's been able to recover after those, we've said it so many times, tricky early laps, now when he has to get past people, that will use up tyre that normally stands him in good stead. And we've seen it a lot, haven't we, in recent races, actually. Sometimes he gets mired, sometimes he comes through. If you do not make the start, Manuel Gonzalez made this point in an interview we did earlier this weekend with him. If you don't get the start right, if you aren't at the front, it does make your race an extra level harder.
Yeah, he's found it a little bit tough to make overtakes this year. Gonzalez, very strong when he can impose his own rhythm at the front of the field, but finds it hard to fight back. And yeah, we've seen it from Jake Dixon on a number of occasions. If he's there and in contact after the first 4 or 5 laps, typically he can take the fight all the way to the flag. But yeah, you cannot afford to give any time away here in Moto2.
Through Stoner corner, the 18 is David Alonso, the number 10, of course, Diogo Moreira. Behind him, the 18 of Manuel Gonzalez. Alonso strong enough. Ooh, foot off the outside foot peg there from Manuel Gonzalez. Nothing to worry about too much. Just shows how on the limit they are at the front. Aegis now has a nearly 2-second lead. Dare we dream for the Australian crowd.
Had a good day to this point, a good weekend to this point for the Aussies. Lots to shout about across the board in all 3 categories.
Yeah, don't forget Jack Miller on the front row later on for the MotoGP race. He took a very creditable 4th yesterday. That's so wide now for David Alonso. I saw Aegis ahead of him just go a little bit deeper. That means Moreira is promoted up into 2nd place. Gonzalez promoted to 3rd.
See the live championship, it would take things to 5 points between the 2 title rivals.
It makes it winner takes all then in that kind of situation.
Another 30.6 last time around for Senna Aegis. Just putting a rhythm in here, 0.4 of a second per lap. He's got a 2.2 advantage over Moreira.
Oh, you just saw. It's so easy, isn't it, over the top of Luki Heights when you drop down. We saw Marco Bezzecchi do exactly the same thing yesterday, just to get out of shape as you drop down the hill.
Yeah, changing direction over the top, and the bike can twitch a little bit. You have to release some brake pressure just to keep things on track.
Jake Dixon finally able to squeeze through on Ayumu Sasaki. David Alonso now in front of him. Dixon there in 5th, Sasaki in 6th. A good ride from Sasaki. Arenas doing a good ride as well in 7th, ahead of Aaron Canet. Daniel Gardo rounding out that front group, really. Then there's a 2.5 seconds back to Adrian Huertas and Darren Binder. It's good to see the South African having a good ride here. He's in 11th. Baltas by himself in 12th. Will he come forward late on? He's got really good pace as Baltus. In fact, Baltus is the fastest rider on track at the moment. He just happens to be down in 12th place.
Unfortunately, the start and the first few laps a little bit too far adrift, but yeah, lapping just a tenth of a second slower than Aegis at this point.
On board with Moreira, breathing on the throttle.
Yeah, fourth gear out of turn 12. Up to 6th as they approach turn 1.
And side by side now with Manuel Gonzalez, who used the slipstream on this occasion. Did he use a little bit of tyre perhaps just to make sure that he kept the pressure on the Brazilian?
I thought Diogo was immediately going to pounce back into the southern loop. Not this time though.
This is manna to the Australian fans, because that just means as they fight, the gap to Aegis out front is now at about 3 seconds. Oh, Manuel Gonzalez using tyre definitely through there at Stoner Corner. Whoa, as David Alonso runs it wide under pressure from Dixon, and now Dixon pushed wide on exit.
Yeah, Jake, I think it was a little bit too hot into there. Previous lap, he did make the overtake. A late move on Sasaki, tried it again on Alonso, but yeah, it didn't work out for him there. Gave up a little bit too much in terms of his lap time and track position.
Oh, and he comes straight back at Arenas now through the hay shed. That's a brave one. We'll have the inside line though, up and over Lukey Heights. Oh, Arenas back round the outside of Dixon over Lukey. That's impressive from the former Moto3 world champion. And Dixon is not taking it lying down. Hard on the brakes, back in front of Arenas.
These two former teammates, likewise,
never really got on, did they?
No, they didn't have the best of a relationship at the end of their Aspar days, but yeah, tough it out here on track. Although the two riders up front, Alonso and Sasaki, big mates of Jake's, and they're all giving as good as they get here today.
Here we go. Roles reversed this time. Gonzalez leading Moreira down the home straight. And on this occasion, Moreira uses the slipstream. So he goes up into second. Aegis extends his lead by half a second out front. He was a second quicker than Moreira on that last lap.
And Barry Baltus, the only rider, a tenth of a second off Senna, once again with a 30.6. He's lapping fast. I don't think 7.9 seconds off the leader.
He's all over again.
It could be, yeah. If his tyres stay with him, he could make his way into this podium battle.
They somehow seem to. He looks the loosest rider out there, Barry Baltus, but somehow it seems to work. I suppose Toprak's a bit like that sometimes, isn't he, in World Superbikes?
Yeah, very true. Yeah, you watch how Toprak controls things. Sometimes the tyres do get overworked, but the majority of the time, he knows how to keep them under him over race distance.
Up towards the hay shed for Diogo Moreira on the 10. Behind him, championship leader Manuel Gonzalez. Second and third. This is a good battle. It's what we wanted to see. These two going at it, going head to head.
And the beauty of Phillip Island is the way you can overtake. If you get a little bit of a run out of the last corner, use the draft, and you pass into turn 1. This was the turn 4 Miller hairpin incident between Alonso and Jake.
Perhaps the most famous intermediate class finish to a championship. You think out that final corner, Shinya Nakano and Olivier Jacques.
Yamaha's back in the day on the 250s. 19 thousandths
of a second separating them, and Jacques taking the title from the Japanese. Here we go again, down into Doohan Corner. What was it across the line, the gap there? Moreira held on by less than a tenth of a second.
Yeah, at the time though, you could see Manny Gonzalez was looking strongly at his pit board, having a good glance over, just reading what the team are communicating, whether that's telling him the gap to the group behind or Senna's pace. They're giving him whatever information they discussed pre-race.
There's a lot more chopping and changing of positions between these two than I expected.
Yeah, which is good to see.
Yeah, great.
We said it before, Neil had explained it, that today is the day. It's a crucial key point in the championship battle that Manu has to take some points back on Diogo. In terms of the bragging rights, the confidence that it builds, it just shows that he's going to tough it out all the way to Valencia.
Yeah, there was the one in Hungary, wasn't it, where it all got a little bit edgy between the pair of them. Coming out of the final corner when Alonso went on to take victory there. There's been battles throughout the year that we've had between the pair of them, and when we're at this stage of the championship, 3 rounds to go after this one. Dixon again, I thought he was going to attack Arenas, but when we get to this point, this is what you want to see. You don't want someone laid up in hospital, you don't want someone struggling for pace and someone else at the front able to just extend the lead. You want them going at it, head to head, hand to hand, scrapping it out on the racetrack.
Yeah, a proper fight for this title race. And I think listening to Robbie Brivio speak earlier, they know that they've got such... Oh, he's gone.
He almost pulled out.
Yeah, Manny just went over to the right-hand side, hoping that he was going to block off the pass, but Diogo was almost on the grass as he went down the front straight.
Yeah, he pulled right to the right-hand side out of the slipstream of Gonzalez on this occasion. Gonzalez a bit wide. Moreira will say thank you very much. Is that a warning for Gonzalez? There's some bumps there. You are slightly offline, and it really costs you. Oh. Here comes Gonzalez again. Oh, thinking about it through Stoner Corner will make him vulnerable now.
Yeah.
For Alonso towards Miller hairpin.
Potentially set up the move for Alonso, although good job for Manu Gonzalez fending off the young Colombian. He's feisty, but didn't want to risk anything there. Respect for the championship battle is what we've seen.
I thought Sasaki was looking really good then, but unfortunately, as they drove down to Siberia, Albert Arenas had the run on him and takes that position 5th from it. So, ooh, Canet having a little spy on the inside of Jake Dixon's motorcycle up and over Luke. You can see Jake's bike there starting to squirm a little bit as he launches it down underneath Sasaki.
Look who's just arriving into the back of the shot over the top of Lucky Heights. Barry Baltas, the number 7. He is coming. Last time around, 30.8. Same lap time as Senna Aegis. This group are all in the mid-31s.
It's funny, isn't it? Like certain racetracks where the bigger riders like Aegis and Baltas, and they look after the tyres, and they're able to run different pace, and it works for them. Moto2 is a case study in itself, right? It's so hard to get your head around sometimes. Now, a little wobble for Gonzalez allows David Alonso to come through. Alonso slots back in behind Gonzalez, but that will be working Gonzalez, allowing Moreira just a little bit of breathing room now.
Yeah, it was a good response immediately from Gonzalez. Turned it tight in turn 1, and then back across the nose of Alonso, but you could witness the front tyre protesting on the way in there. It is increasing the risk for him, although David Alonso's free to race for the best spot he can get on the podium today.
Of course, and so is Daniel Gardo through on Aaron Canet and up into 8th place. I just wonder now if Gonzalez knows. What did he say to us on the grid? I found it really interesting. He said to Nat, basically, it wasn't positive. He said, I don't have the feeling, a bike doesn't quite feel right, but I'm going to be positive. I thought, well, you've just said negative things for the last 20 seconds, so that's not really the case here. And I just wonder, I'm just watching his bike move that little bit. If he's starting to think, okay, I just need to make moves, I need to keep myself in this position, come what may. Oh, that's a late one from Dixon.
The fight rolls on between these two, but Jake, he's making amends for that mistake a few laps ago. It took a few tough laps to get back in front of Arenas, but he's got the job done eventually.
You can hear the tyres suffering now, can't you, at this stage of the race? You can just see, just with the body language of the riders on board, with the little wobbles, with the twitches here and there, and Manuel Gonzalez has got it rolling out of that final corner once more. Diogo Moreira sweeps to the inside now. Does he get back? No. Yes, he does. Wow, from Moreira. So brave when you're battling for a championship as these two are.
Yeah, difficult to judge the marker when you get such a draft as Gonzalez had that time. The tailwind as well. You're going into turn 1 faster than you expect. He was almost on the curbs, but good response again from Moreira back to the head of this battle.
Buzzer's coming, and he's right on the rear wheel of Aaron Canet. Still in 10th place, but you feel like his pace means he should be able to pick a couple off the way he's been. He's the only rider riding anywhere similar to the kind of lap times there at Senna Aegis. In fact, he was 3/10 quicker than Aegis on that last lap.
Yeah, he's going to waste no time here getting through on his teammate, Aaron Canet. Yeah, such an impressive run of laps, 30.6 last time around. That's such a fast lap for these Moto2 riders.
Let's not forget, Senna Aegis is out front in this race. His home Grand Prix, the Australian, at Phillip Island, leading by 5.5 seconds. This is the scrap for 2nd place. Aegis would have to have something dramatically go wrong for him now, but there is still a long way where those sorts of things can happen, particularly at Phillip Island.
7 laps to go, and this is the first time 6 laps to go now as Senna crosses the line, but that's the first lap where he gave away a little bit on these chasers. Well, actually, in the end, it was an identical lap time for Moreira and Senna, so yeah, all good up front.
Yeah, Alonso and Dixon actually were both quicker than Senna on that lap. They were into the 1:30 bracket, but first time we've seen Senna drop the pace, but he can manage it now. He's got 5.6 seconds. I could probably see Jono, his dad, down there on the pit wall going, what are you doing? You don't need to keep extending the lead. Let's just manage things to the line.
Jono doesn't get too flustered.
No,
he's a cool character.
He is very cool.
Yeah, he's a great support for Senna, travels the world with him. He is his confidant, his assistant, his mate, and his father.
Yeah, they travel together. Well, mum and sister are back in Australia during the year. See each other maybe at Christmas, maybe once a year. I know the whole family are here this weekend, which is really nice to see.
What a day it would be. Got his first podium here in front of the Aussie fans last year, and it looks like he's set to take his first ever Moto2 victory in front of the home fans once again. Don't want to jinx it, but...
No, that's the thing. You don't want to get ahead of yourself, because we know. Michael, we've seen a fair few races at Phillip Island over the years and know what can happen.
Yeah, but he looks to be managing it so well at the front. Just keeping the pace rolling every single lap.
I'd be so chuffed for him. I'd be so chuffed for him if he was able to bring it home. His top left-ear picture. He crosses the start-finish line now, while the others are just coming into the straight. Moreira second, Alonso third. Crucially, Manuel Gonzalez fourth, and under pressure from Jake Dixon. And while Alonso goes second, Gonzalez now finds himself down in fifth, and he's going backwards. Olgado's coming forwards, Baltas is coming forwards. This could get really tricky really quickly for Gonzalez.
Yeah, with Alonso and Jake, they're out there for the podium positions. Moreira will be having a signal on his pit board as to where Gonzalez is. And at the moment, giving away a few too many points.
Retirement for Marcos Ramirez. To say is Daniel Olgado, a late one on Manuel Gonzalez now, and that pushes Gonzalez back to 6th spot. That will change the championship picture yet again. A reminder, when you're down in 6th, you get 10 points. When you're 3rd, like Diogo Moreira, you're picking up 16 points. So the gap down to 3 as things stand. Things could still change. If Moreira takes 2nd from Alonso, he would be leading this championship heading to Malaysia. All of them will be on the flights tonight. Oh, I thought there Alonso looked like there's a dramatic change of direction as Baltas puts a late move in.
He's going to lean it on top of Arenas, but Arenas not giving way to the Belgian here today.
He's just a second quicker though, isn't he? He's just that much quicker.
He's just looking so strong, wanting to find a way through. He had such control to pull it down. I was worried he was going to touch the rear wheel of Manny Gonzalez into MG. Oh, little wobble for Alonso as he squeezes on the power out of the final turn.
And Danny Olgado's lining up Jake Dixon down towards turn 1. Olgado's fought his way through, had a heavy crash at the Lukey Heights early on this weekend, but has recovered well. Started down the order in 5th place, dropped down the order, should I say, off the start, but has recovered superbly.
Lap 16, the riders were predicting a bit of a tire drop, and now we are 31.4, 31.8, 31.6. They're all giving away a few.
Welcome back to the aftermath of the Australian Grand Prix garage. There is frustration because Manuel Gonzalez could only manage 7th place today. Looked in a little bit of pain as well. His title rival, Diogo Moreira, was 3rd. His teammate, Australia's Senna Aegis, was the winner here at Phillip Island, a home victor. And what a performance it was, Mike.
Oh, in style. He got to the front and he just imposed a pace that the others couldn't match. He kept the rhythm all the way throughout, that until the very end he just rolled off a little bit, brought it home a comfortable victor. Seen him doing the burnout there in front of his father, Jono. What a feeling that will be. 1 year on from his first podium. He takes his first ever victory at home. He loves it here on the island, loves the circuit, and he delivers an impressive performance.
I'm so pleased for him. Obviously, he won earlier this year in Silverstone. That was in a proper scrap, wasn't it?
Silverstone, we'd likened the flow and nature of it to this circuit, although obviously a lot more elevation here at the island, but it works for Senna's natural riding style. He was impressive at Silverstone. And then once again, sorry, I forgot about the win at Silverstone, not his debut victory, but...
Yeah, no, but at home it is. It's his first time he's ever won here. First ever Australian to win in Moto2. And I expect for the team a little bit bittersweet with what's happening with Manuel Gonzalez. But, you know, he had to do his job. In fact, in some ways, Michael, going out there and winning the race helps your teammate.
Yeah, that's true. He's took a few more points off of Diogo, but yeah, unfortunately for the team, they have lost a few more, and it's down to 2 points at the head of the field. But Senna's done his job today, everything that was asked of him from the intact GP squad. They must be bouncing down at Italtrans. That 3rd place will feel like a win for Diogo Moreira, because he has taken 7 more points out of Manuel Gonzalez's championship lead, and now with 2 in it, all bets are off. That's another race he's taken points out of Manuel. Yeah, tough times, tough to take for this squad and for Manu Gonzalez at the moment.
All the family down to welcome Senna home. So good to see. So good to see. There is Jono. They travel the world together. Chip off the old block. And there will be a little bit of a party tonight. Do you remember how buzzed Senna was a year ago with that podium? Imagine now when he's just won his home Grand Prix.
Exactly, yeah, he was lost for words. This is the moment on the last lap. You could see the whole way around, Gonzalez was just trying to keep Valdes behind him, not hemorrhage any more points. And unfortunately for him, Barry found a way around the outside on the approach to Lucky Heights. Impressive.
It makes me think wide a couple of times at the Southern Loop as well, through Stoner's corner, that his front, the left-hand side of his front tyre. That's what it makes me think. All right, let's hear from Diogo Moreira, now up to just 2 points behind Manuel Gonzalez.
Diogo, that feels like a hugely important podium. Now only 2 points in the World Championship. You gave everything in that fight with Manu. Psychologically, how important do you think it is to have beaten him today?
Yeah, at the end it was a difficult race, a lot of windy. So it was difficult to put the pace on the track, but yeah, very happy. We make a very good weekend, so yeah, we need to keep like this. And let's see, but yeah, very happy.
Great job, well done.
Thank you.
So we should be happy, because yet again he has taken points out of Manuel Gonzalez. You can see in the early stage, you can see a little bit of marking on the front left compared to Moreira's. Gonzalez in front of Moreira at this stage of the race. But the momentum is fully now with the Brazilian. 2 points means, you know, pretty much finishing anywhere ahead of Gonzalez. Well, if he does in the next 3 races, he's the champion.
Yeah, there will be a shift before too long. If he stays on current form with the momentum on his side, it's certainly in his favour at the moment.
David Alonso doing it again. Up to 2nd today. Another podium in his rookie season. That's his 3rd to date.
David, what a brilliant fight that was to get onto the podium. Have you ever had to work harder for a 2nd place?
Well, honestly, today I I need to say sorry to all the fans that were seeing the race, because I finished the race so tired that I couldn't even like say hello to the people, because my arm is completely dead. So sorry for the people that I cannot say hello to them. But well, I think it's one of my best starts of the year. I really make a good start, and then I was trying to be there on the top. This race was the hardest one about physical condition. Like with the wind, you need to fight a lot with the bike, and I was dead. And when Senna goes, I just stay on the group to try to get energy again. And on the last 5 laps, I have cleared that I need to go in front. This teaches me a lot for the future to lead a race. Not leading because I was second, but without anyone in front. And on the last lap, I just put all in and try to make this happen. Today is the birthday of my cousin. Danae, muchas felicidades. Te quiero, prima. Let's keep doing like today, like working, but not expecting anything.
Top ride, well done.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Excellent ride from David Alonso, growing in stature all the time, building a little bit of momentum now. Of course, took victory in Hungary at the podium in Silverstone. In fact, if we look back to that Silverstone Grand Prix, the 1, 2, 3, the same 1, 2, 3.
Same podium with a slightly different result for second and third with Moreira. We did say it at the start of the weekend, this is a track that would suit Alonso, and he was fast from the outset, kept it all the way to the flag.
That's good of Manuel Gonzalez, isn't it, to come down and celebrate with his teammates. He's a confident kid, is Aegis, European Moto2 champion, let's not forget, and now has his second Grand Prix victory, but this one, look at him, taking it all in, does it?
Senna, you've just won the Australian Grand Prix. Can you put into words how much this moment means?
It means everything. You know, last year we set the benchmark and everyone's been saying all weekend, are we going to see it again? And I knew since Friday that I felt amazing this weekend, and my aim was a victory, and I can't believe I got it done. I got a good start and I went for it. I used all the tire in the middle of the race to break away, and it was a long race, a new experience, and yeah, I'm just over the moon, and I'm out. I've got no words. Yeah, just like to thank everybody in my corner over here. They mean the world to me, and everybody's doing their best to help me succeed, and I'm finally starting to show off. So I'm just really proud of myself and the whole team for this one, and how good to do it at home.
Huge congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Senna Aegis is a bright star in Australia, and now he's a bright star all around the world. Worked hard throughout his career, given it absolutely everything. The family have too, obviously having to split with the mum staying here, the dad Jono going to Andorra to be with Senna, and days like today make it all worthwhile, don't they?
What a day, eh? You know, like, that's the best day of that young rider's career, I mean, or life, I should say. I mean, what a ride. The courage it takes to go, I'm going all in now, I've got a gap, and I'm just going to go all in, and let's see what happens. That takes bravery, and he risked it all, and it paid off. He went all in the casino, and he's won. He's done it. I'm so chuffed for him.
A little bit frustrating that we didn't see more of him on screen, really. We hardly saw him go across the line.
I know you mean that. I've got to say, I mean, an Australian to win his home race, the first Australian to win the Moto2 class, and we saw him from behind going across the line. That was a bit poor.
Yeah, he won't care about that.
He won't care about that. I did, though.
I did as well. He's won, and you know, he's gone one better than last year. I don't know where his mum is with the taquitos and the Tim Tams, but she needs to break them out. But fantastic in terms of making history, and also just looking forward. Jack Miller will have watched that, and he'll be thinking, it's my turn now.
100%. We know. I mean, it's obviously we're here at Phillip Island. It's rampant. The vibe's brilliant. Kelzola was impressive in Moto3. Obviously, Senna's just done that, and you know what Jack's like. He's an adrenaline rider, so hey, we can dream here. Let's dream.
These are lovely shots, aren't they? Senna Aegis. Just shows absolutely everything, and that's just such a great image. So well deserved, this victory.
Yeah, so well deserved. Like I said, brave. But then Gavin Michael mentioned about the corner speed he was running, though. You run a little bit more corner speed than normal, you can be smoother on the throttle. And But what allowed him to do that was that early gap. When he got that second, all of a sudden then you can relax. Let the brake off early, you don't have to brake as late. Run through these corners. But I guess that's his Phillip Island experience. He did it perfect.
I was just wondering actually whether these weather conditions kind of almost played into his hands, because they would suit Senna, having ridden in his youth throughout these bad conditions, like British riders.
Exactly. You're used to being buffeted with the wind. And the noise changes, believe it or not, in your helmet. It's buffeting and it can take your concentration. But today, no mistakes, 10 out of 10. And he is the winner.
And we're going to hear the roar of the island gap in a moment.
I think so, as Senna gets up there. Great to see, isn't it, as he steps up onto the top step of the podium, emulating some of the Australian heroes of the past, whether it be most recently Jack Miller doing the business in Moto3, but you think of Casey Stoner, the years he spent up there, whether it be Wayne Gardner, Mick Doohan. Yeah, that's where they stood on the top step. Jürgen Ling celebrates. He knows he's got a job to do on the other side of the garage to keep Manuel Gonzalez in this championship, because Diogo Moreira is coming 2 points now with that third place. 2 points, the Brazilian behind the Spaniard, and no Spaniards on the podium. I think is an important thing to point out. Brazilian in third, a Colombian here in David Alonso in second place. And the changing of the guard perhaps. But most importantly, here at Phillip Island, it's an Australian on the top step for the Australian Grand Prix. Senna Aegis wins at home. And there'll be a huge party here in Phillip Island tonight.
Superb. As the family look on, so proud, a home victory for Senna Aegis. The roos are bouncing then as Senna Aegis makes history here at home. What a day for the young Aussie, one to never ever forget. David Alonso fighting hard for that second place. Good to see him on the podium, and Diogo Moreira taking another bite out of Manu Gonzalez championship lead. 2 points, now the difference with 3 to go. Oh, we're going to get a shoey. We're going to get the Aussie shoey. Jack Miller really started something here. They took it on in Formula One as well, but it was Jack that kind of made it famous, and here we go. The most disgusting thing you'll ever seen. Good on you, fella. And after a break, let's take a couple of minutes, and when we come back, we'll turn our attention to MotoGP. There we go, he's going to share it around, everyone's getting one.
It is never over until it's over. What a way for that team to celebrate.
Carroll Nash Insurance sponsors MotoGP on TNT Sports.
3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
Tom Aspinall against Cyril Gans.
This is a massive fight.
Oh, Tom Aspinall!
Listen to this crowd. We got a fight, ladies and gentlemen.
This is my time.
Lindor, irresistibly smooth, melting chocolate from the Lindt Master Chocolatier. You choose the moment, we'll provide the bliss. And now, unwrap Lindor Pistachio from Lindt.
Play Ojo Live Casino is dead fun. Play live game show hits like Mega Wheel and get money back on every game.
Formula One and art can challenge what we believe is possible, changing our perspective on the world around us. At Airwallex, we are shifting perspective on global finance, helping customers like McLaren seamlessly do business around the world. Airwallex, proud partner of the McLaren Formula One team.
So, after 4 years in the classic car restoration business, every cog is running perfectly. Oh my God. Brand new Richard Hammond's Workshop. Stream now, only on Discovery Plus.
The Quarter Nation Series.
Live on TNT Sports.
MotoGP takes centre stage. Drama is happening before our eyes.
We have got a championship on our hands.
Carroll Nash Insurance sponsors MotoGP on TNT Sports.
This programme contains flashing images.
Phillip Island, for many, including myself, the best motorcycle racetrack in the world.
Wayne Gardner back to his best as he beats Doohan to the line.
Rossi takes victory and takes the 500cc World Championship.
And Alex Rins in Suzuki's final season is going to win the Australian Grand Prix.
Off the 220-mile-an-hour Gardner Straight, the wild ride begins at Doohan Corner. And just like the Aussie hero it's named after, it commands your full respect.
Mick Doohan wins at home again, and with it, he clinches his 5th 500cc crown.
Turn 3, another legend, another stupidly fast corner. There's a reason he won 6 in a row here.
Oh, look at Casey Stoner slide through turn 3.
He has done the business in Australia for the 6th time in succession.
Miller's hairpin, not always so lucky for Jack.
Oh no! And he's knocked out Jack Miller at Miller Corner.
But often your race winner can be decided here.
Zarco attacks! Zarco attacks! Oh, and he's stunned Martino. Johan Zarco wins a MotoGP race for the very first time. I can't believe what I'm seeing.
It's a roller coaster without rails, through the chill of Siberia into the terrifying Haitian. And as you crest Lukey Heights, pray your stomach catches up with you.
Lorenzo is under attack from Marc Marquez. He'll go for it down at MG. Marc Marquez squeezes by. Marc Marquez does it in style down under.
Then it's a final, flat-out, long looping left, building to the crescendo of the finish line. It can be a close-run thing.
What a race by Valentino Rossi, wins the 2004 World Championship.
Or if you've judged it right, you can play it cool.
Marco Melandri lights it up as he takes victory in Australia.
Ultimately, the circuit is the headline act here. And even without some of MotoGP's biggest stars, the island always shines brightest once the lights go out.
What scenes we have witnessed here over the years. Welcome to the Australian Grand Prix from the inimitable Phillip Island. A glorious flowing race circuit. All the riders absolutely love it, but today it has been the weather who has been grubbing the headlines. It's gusting and affecting every race on track. So we've got weather, we've got wildlife to think about as well here at, as Gavin said, the greatest racetrack in the world. Well, we've already had drama across the weekend. We had some yesterday in the sprint. It was Fabio Quartararo who got pole position in qualifying, his 5th of the season so far, breaking the lap record. Marco Bezzecchi took 2nd spot, and home hero Jack Miller starts from the front row. Here are your highlights.
Phillip Island, a pure, unfiltered motorcycle racing paradise, and it's time to let out the wild animals for the MotoGP sprint here in Australia. The lights go on, and when they go out, we are underway, and it's an excellent start from Jack Miller on the inside. A great one from Fabio Quartararo, and look at Alex Marquez on the Ducati from the second row of the grid. Quartararo tries to rail it around the outside. Talking of rails, there's Raul Fernandez in second place on the Aprilia.
Fernandez into the lead though, because Alex Marquez went wide in turn 2. Oh, but Zeki nearly did what he did in Indonesia with the other Marquez brother there.
Oh, Jack Miller comes straight back at Pedro Acosta. Did him on the brakes. That's stronger suit for the KTM compared to the Yamaha, but Jack turned well underneath Acosta. Jack Miller's coming. Go on, Jack. Coming down into turn 10, and through he goes on Alex Marquez, and that will set this crowd alight. Miller into the podium positions. Look at that. He's just not got a chance then down the straight, because the Ducati goes straight past him.
Oh, so silly mistake.
Completely wrong. He got dragged into the over the top of Lukey Heights, and that gives Raul Fernandez breathing room. Jack Miller's a sitting duck here now, isn't he? Pedro comes round for the ride. Well done to Pedro.
The door should be open for him. It is.
Oh, Fernandez tried to block it off. He'll try and turn back underneath him, but look at that from Bezzecchi. Just powers out of the loop. Again, Ducati on Yamaha.
Yeah.
As it stands, there'll be no Ducati on a sprint podium for the first time. Well, from hero to 0 points today, mean.
Is he going to try and do a cheeky one up the inside into the last corner? We've seen it a few times. He's going for it.
Oh, he was spinning up, wasn't he, trying to do it, and that will really compromise his run down to the line. He had to have a go. Marco Bezzecchi, the favourite wins for Aprilia. Back-to-back sprint wins for him. Raul Fernandez gets his best sprint result in second. Pedro Acosta is third, holding off Jack Miller superbly at the end. But credit to the Aussie where it's due. That was a great ride into fourth. But Bezzecchi's come up with the goods, but was made to do it the hard way.
It was a tough beginning because Raul was incredibly fast, and I was struggling a bit with the front tire at the beginning. I lost the front a couple of times, and also when I was able to catch Raul, unfortunately I made a mistake and I took a wobble in braking of turn 10, so I lost a lot of ground. Fortunately, I was managing well the tires, so I tried to push again and to catch him, and fortunately I was able to ride pretty fast, so very happy. The performance was super good, so yeah, I enjoyed a lot.
I'm very happy. Again, we get another sprint podium. I am really happy for that. I am really happy for the team. I think in two very different tracks we get to be competitive. I think we make a really good step in the last test in Misano, and in the last 3 races we confirmed this feeling. So yeah, I'm really happy. Today on the sprint I tried to make my maximum to break the group. I got it, but I saw Marco that he had a little bit better pace than us, and when he overtook me, I don't have more rear tire. I try to follow him, but I just to survive because it was on the last 3 laps.
Phillip Island is not the best track for our bike, and even less for myself. You know that normally I'm so often close the corner quite early, and I'm not a really corner speed guy, but I think we managed in the best way. We use our strong point when was the moment, and just wait until the opportunity to overtake Jack and Alex. Is true that at the end Jack have much space than the race, because I was listening his bike for the last 4 laps behind. But anyway, I think it was a good race, also good passes for this. I think we have to make a step for tomorrow, but I think we are in the good way after the summer break.
Welcome to the pit lane here in Phillip Island. It's a little bit cooler, it's still breezy, and there's some grey clouds. A couple of happy riders in there, and one who's not the corner guy, Pedro Acosta, but still performed absolutely brilliantly yesterday. Shall we go back to the start of that race and have a look at how it panned out? Because obviously everyone wants to come out of turn 1 first.
Yeah, it's an important track to try and lead around, because everyone's always concerned about the tyres. And Marco Bezzecchi, fastest all weekend. We sort of needed him not to get a good start, and he didn't, as we've seen for the last couple of rounds. Sort of drop back, and it's quite a drag down to turn 1, so if you don't get a good jump off the line, you can get engulfed into the pack. It was aggressive after that and tried to work his way to the front, but the man who impressed me the most was Raul Fernandez. He had been fast all weekend. We know the Aprilia works round here, but he turned there under Alex Marquez on his trackhouse Aprilia, and then what I loved is obviously he's not been in this position many times. He didn't even think about conserving his tyre. He then set 3 or 4 incredibly fast lap times, which stretched the field, and actually in the end ended up meaning that he got on the podium because of it. So yeah, it was really impressive, really impressive. But the fastest man who eventually won the race was Marco Bezzecchi. He's been the fastest all weekend. Yeah,
consistently he has, isn't he? Even though Fabio broke the lap record, obviously, to take pole position. We know now that Fabio and Alex Marquez had chosen the wrong front tyre, so we could have a different story today. But just picking up on Raul Fernandez there, he was exceptional yesterday. We've seen glimmers of it, you know, and flashes of the brilliance, but there seems to be putting something together now, and that Aprilia looks very sweet around here.
It does. You do wonder, has he inherited a few parts from Jorge Martin's side of the garage? Obviously, Jorge's out of action, but the two-pronged attack from Raul Fernandez and Bezzecchi the last few weekends, it's really elevated Aprilia's status in the paddock. People are talking about it being the best bike on the grid at the moment, which for a small factory in Newali, that is no mean feat, but it looks so good. It looks brilliant around this racetrack. Ayagur's coming back from injury. He looked stronger this morning, but I think Aprilia are in such a purple patch at the moment, such a sweet spot, and they've got previous world champion Jorge Martin returning from injury, hopefully before the end of the season. But this mistake, or we've seen a few little mistakes from Bezzecchi. The little wobble he took over the hill, almost collected the back of Raul Fernandez, like the unforced error he had last week or 2 weeks ago in Lombok with Mark. He just needs to stop those little rushes of the blood to the head, calm that, but he's so fast at the moment. Starts the race favourite despite having a double long lap penalty to somehow get out of the way early doors.
Well, let's discuss that double long lap penalty. Obviously, that's come from what happened in Indonesia. That's why Mark isn't here. He's had a shoulder operation. He's recovering. OK, we'll draw a line under that. So he's got 2 long lap penalties in this race. Now, really, that he's going to lose, what, a couple of seconds per lap?
I'd say, yeah. It's supposed to be 3. That's the rough calculation, but he's been practicing it a lot because he's known all weekend he's had to do it, and I've watched him do it a lot, and he's done it very well, I've got to say. It's showing the times there of what basically he lost, but that's not quite correct because he didn't really push. This was in the morning warm-up, him practicing it, but I tell you what, he's got it dialed. So yeah, he's going to lose 2 seconds. So he's going to add 4 seconds to his race time. No, that's not the case. The reality is when you do the long lap penalty, because you'll have to do it early on in the race, then that throws you back into the field, so that you lose time battling. So all in all, I'm going to say he's probably going to lose, obviously it's going to be a guess, I'm going to say he's going to lose 6 to 8 seconds with the long lap penalty.
I mean, that is such a lot of time. I mean, you said quite convincingly there, but, you know, I think he can still do it. He goes in favourite. He did make a couple of mistakes on top of... He can't afford to make 1 mistake today, then, if he's going to win.
No, he can't afford those mistakes. That's probably what could trip him up, but we've seen it done in the past when Valentino Rossi cleared off by 10 seconds to win. This circuit in particular, when you've got a bike and a tyre and a combination that works so well, you can really make the difference. We saw it in Moto2, a comfortable margin out front, and I think Bezzecchi, as long as he doesn't get too much of a rush to regain those positions in that time, I think he can still make his way to the top of the podium by 20, it's a 27-lap race, a long way to the end.
I think he can. I'm with Michael.
It's going to be sensational to watch it happen, isn't it? Because he's going to be action throughout the whole race if that happens. But we've got an Alex Marquez on the correct tyre, a Fabio Quartararo on the right tyre. Raul Fernandez was tremendous yesterday. I mean, Pedro Acosta in the mix. Jack Miller, by the way. Oh, I've just watched Senna Aegis win Moto2. Now it's my turn. Thank you very much. I was just off the podium yesterday. I'm not having that today. I'm on the podium. We've got some right ingredients for MotoGP, haven't we?
You're so right. And, you know, Jack doesn't need any more adrenaline in his blood, but having watched Senna, who's obviously his good mate, win the race, he'll be so up for it. He'll push harder, risk more, probably not conserve his tyre, which is probably what he needs to do. But do you know with Bez, what we talked about, him making mistakes, I think the fact that he's got this double long lap penalty will hone in the concentration.
Focus.
Yeah, and I think we've seen him make mistakes earlier because he's had such an advantage in his pocket, he's almost losing a bit of concentration. I think we're going to see the performance of Bezzecchi's life.
Well, it's going to be incredible.
If he wins.
Have you had a word with him?
I've not this time.
OK, that's probably a good thing. Let's hear from Jack Miller then, who was just off the podium yesterday.
It's been a good day, honestly. I can't complain at all. You know, we made some steps last night with the bike. I felt relatively comfortable with the bike yesterday, but kind of knew the limitations where they were, and we were able to, you know, rotate the bike and calm it down just a little bit without compromising the bits that were good from the bike. So, no, happy with the performance, obviously, through our qualifying, and then to get in the race and back it up was really cool. Yeah, I mean, Pedge did a fantastic. I could see he was starting to suffer with the rear tyre those last couple of laps. I wanted to pass 2 to go, but I knew if I did so, he would let him know where I could pass him, and also he'd come sailing back past me on the front straight. So tried to save it to the last lap. Turn 4, he protected really well. Turn 10, he protected really well, and kind of had a look at going into 12, but unfortunately I just didn't have quite enough to just put it alongside him. But anyway, happy with the performance. The bike's been good all day. Team's done a fantastic job, and it just felt really nice to be super competitive throughout the race.
And how are you feeling on that hard front, which you tried, did you say, in qualifying? Do you think that will be the race tyre?
Yeah, definitely, and well, it depends on the temperature, honestly, but I think so. And then, yeah, the medium rear for tomorrow. The soft today. Mine felt good, but, it was starting to get to the end of its life towards the end of the sprint there, and I think everybody will be on that medium option, and it'll still be one of those nursing jobs to try and bring it home. But yeah, if we go off, let's say, the feeling for today, I felt like we could keep the lap time pretty consistent without asking too much from the rear tyre, and I think that's going to be crucial in the back stages of tomorrow's race.
Well, with you on the front, we've got Joel Kelso on pole and Senna as well. It could be a good day for the Aussies.
Absolutely. No, Joel did a fantastic job with that pole, and Senna, was second, so no, it looks like a good day for the Aussies at home tomorrow, but obviously a lot of laps to be done before we can go celebrating anything.
That lovely wry smile from Jack Miller there, and here he is live in his garage prepping for the Australian Grand Prix, the race ahead, and that adrenaline will be pumping. We're going to take a short break, but before we do, don't miss our fantastic documentary on Tom Aspinall's journey to become UFC heavyweight champion. That's available to stream now on Discovery Plus, ahead of his first defence of his title against Francis Cyril Gane at UFC 321 on Saturday. We're live from Abu Dhabi at 5 o'clock, exclusively on TNT Sports Box Office. See you in a sec.
Carroll Nash Insurance sponsors MotoGP on TNT Sports.
The Champions League is back. It's such great stories to tell. It's a clash of European heavyweights. Oh, have some of that. Oh, absolutely fabulous.
You can really feel the excitement.
How many times do we watch this competition throw up drama like that? They are in deep water. The stage is set. Great finish. It's unscripted drama at its unpredictable best.
7 days, 7 lucky postcodes, £7 million to share.
That's really real.
That's really real, £250,000.
It's a week of winning big with People's Postcode Lottery. Because in our November draws, a new postcode will share £1 million every day for 7 days. So get your door in the draw and sign up before midnight on the 31st of October.
What if your money never sat idle and could earn up to 4.5% annual interest paid daily? Oh, and withdraw it at any time.
Sounds like Ojo time. Feel the fun with money back on every spin, win or lose.
Play Ojo. Treat yourself to this year's Love Honey Advent calendars, including our couples calendar at just £149. Feel the love honey behind every door. Can't wait? Shop our irresistible Advent calendars now at lovehoney.co.uk.
What's it like having Sky with Netflix? Well, it means you can be Lady Keegan. Delighted to make your acquaintance.
Hello.
Michelle Jackal.
Can't be beyond Michelle.
All right. Michelle of House Kigarian. It kind of feels like going somewhere new every night. But telly. Escape to extraordinary. Get Sky with Netflix for just £15 a month. Handsomely good value.
Got the big man to score first.
And off goes the big man.
Oh, chin up. With Paddy's Super Sub, your bet rolls over to the player coming on.
So now all subs are super. Super Sub from Paddy Power. And you can try out Super Sub with a completely free builder on the Liverpool v United game this weekend. Paddy Power.
Carroll Nash Insurance sponsors MotoGP on TNT Sports.
Hello, welcome back. Some football for you. The Champions League returns with match day 3 from Tuesday. We'll have 17 matches exclusively live for you, including Frankfurt versus Liverpool and Chelsea versus Ajax. We also have every match from the UEFA Europa League and Conference League on Thursday. Next weekend, we bring you the first ever televised match from the opening round of the Adobe Women's FA Cup with Middlesbrough against Cheadletown. Liverpool travel to Brentford in the Premier League. That's 7 o'clock next Saturday. And it's